today I thought I'd go over something that I find really useful when modeling, which is adding a wrinkle effect to my clothing. Because when I model, I generally have a very smooth initial article of clothing, and then I have to add the wrinkles after, just because it's much easier to add them after than to have to like retopologize around wrinkles that I make when I sculpt. So if you look here, I've got kind of my textured version here that's finished with some wrinkles, my untextured wrinkled version, so you can get like a really good view of it without the texture in the way, and then the original version I have, which has no wrinkles at all. So these pants are pretty tight. They don't have a lot of wrinkles, but they've got some, and I think it adds a lot to give it kind of like these little folds here and there. So I've got a fold right under the bottom here, one in the knee area, or like a couple actually in the knee area, and then some bunched up at the bottom of the shoe. So how did I do that? I'm gonna kind of just go over it with you guys. It's an art. It's not a science, so it's very much like touch and go, and you see how it looks as you go. But here I'm gonna bring the unwrinkled version right in our center, and I'm gonna start trying to add some wrinkles. So the knee area is a key spot that you get some wrinklage. So if I right click and go to edge, I'm gonna find an edge that I think is around where the wrinkle would be, and I'm gonna hit my R key to scale it up. And it's good to go between smooth and unsmooth, so I'm going to 1 to unsmooth, and then I can see here, if I scale it up, smooth it out, it does look a little bit like a wrinkle, but not totally, because it wrinkles more in the back than in the front. If you look at real pants, there's more of like a crease here than there. So how do we get rid of that front wrinkle? Well, I'm gonna just go back to edge, grab, double click around that front part of the knee, and also just make sure symmetry is on, unless you don't want it on, because wrinkles don't have to be symmetrical. It just was a fast way for me to do this. But if you do want it to be symmetrical, object X is generally where you're going to want your symmetry. So sorry, I'm going to grab that again. So I'm holding shift and double clicking on the edge, then W on your keyboard. You can kind of bring it in. You're getting some interesting effects here. Maybe I want soft select. So B for soft select, I'll tone it down a bit. So I'm just getting that front area. Oh, and by the way, so B, if you want to scale up or down your soft select, B on the keyboard, and then left click on your mouse, and then just move it up and down, and you can reduce or increase the size accordingly. So we're going to go like that. I'm not seeing that that's giving me the effect I want. So I'm turning off soft select. I'm going back to the initial. It was affecting too much of the area, so I didn't like it. Now I'm kind of grabbing a smaller area of edge and bringing that in a little. Okay, don't hate it. Another good thing to do is like give it a little droop. So I'm going to go back in, grab the back part of this edge, and I've grabbed the front, which I didn't mean to. Grab the back part of the edge. There, that's only that. I'm going to kind of bring it down. I might even rotate it down a little bit. That's giving it kind of an interesting shape. So now if I right click on object mode and look at my object from this angle, I'm seeing that there's a nice little crease in the fabric, but maybe I don't like how bumpy the knee is. How do I fix that? Sculpting is a great tool to do very subtle fixes in Maya. It's not like sculpting in ZBrush where you're building and creating from scratch. It kind of lets you edit things gently without ruining the topology. So if you go to sculpt, the sculpting tab, and right here you have a nice smooth tool. This tool can be scaled up or down by holding down B and just right I keep saying right, but I mean left click on your mouse and just move it up and down. You can control the size, and you can kind of just subtly smooth out the area. So if I don't want the kneecap so bumpy, but I want that fold in the fabric still, I can just smooth out the top, or the, I guess, front of the knee. And that leaves that bump in the back and keeps things totally smooth in the front. And you can keep it subtle by controlling the size and the strength of the brush. So if you double click on the brush that you have selected and that you're using right here, you can move the strength up or down and up or down. And generally, if you're not seeing any effect, you might have the strength too low, or if you're seeing just massive distortion, the strength is too high. So that is subtle and good. That's looking all right. I think with these pants, I did that twice. I did it to a different edge loop also here, but let's move around the pants a little bit so we can see the effect in different areas. So now I switched tools. Oops, not object mode. I want edge mode. I think the fold would be right where the pants kind of crease here. I'm just moving them out, and then, no, that's insane. That's not where it is. It should be maybe like right under the crease. Sometimes you can really see the distortion if you go into unsmooth mode, so I like to go back and forth. That looks weird, so I don't want that. I think one thing that would be helpful would be adding an edge loop here. And I think that's what I did. So if I go to my shelf that I made myself, I have the insert edge loop tool. If you don't have that on your shelf, you can go over to mesh tools, insert edge loop, find the spot where you want to add that edge loop. That's a little, I want it kind of in the middle there. Perfect. Now I'm gonna grab an edge over here. Now, if I look at my model with that extra edge loop added and then kind of brought down and out, it's giving it that kind of folded effect that you would see in fabric. So this one I kind of overdid a little bit more than I did originally, but I think it works. Maybe they're a little loose, I don't know. So that works for sure. Let's give some more wrinkles to the bottom here. And I think I'm gonna have to add some edge loops like I did before. So mesh tool, insert edge loop here and here for now. A couple. The edge loops just give me more options. Scaling it up, scaling it down. I might even move that. If I smooth it, I'll see what my effect is starting to look like. I feel like they're coming in a bit too much here, so I'm going to scale that up, I think. And even if I select object mode, I can isolate with this little button at the top of my viewport, and that lets me see what's below the shoe. Kind of scale that up, give it more of a... And I think I'm going to even add another edge loop. I have my edge loop tool still available right here, so I'm going to bring that in. Scale it up here, move it down a little, give it that bumpy look. I just want to see it unsmoothed, see it smoothed again. Definitely getting a wrinkle effect at the bottom. I am noticing that my geometry is starting to intersect with my shoe because I moved it around a bit. So I'm going to isolate again with this button here. I'm going to pull it to the side a bit. Actually, I'm going to soft select pull so that the whole bottom kind of moves a little bit. And then unisolate by clicking the isolate again. Kind of moving everything to fit. Isolate it again. There we go. That's about right. Now, if I zoom out, I can see that my pants have some wrinkles. We've got a fold here, some folds here, some ruffles at the bottom where the shoe tends to bunch the fabric together. And, I think I would like to even add one more edge loop right here just to give it a little more oomph. So I'm gonna turn off sock select with B. Take a look at this and see what I can do. And it's good if you have reference, but I'm just going by my instinct at the moment. Just selecting some of it, pulling it out, bringing it down. I might even grab this vertex here and pull it up so it eases into the wrinkle. But I would definitely say that okay. And you could see that symmetry wasn't really working because this is not symmetrical. Something about my model's not symmetrical. So it's different, but it's okay because pants bunch differently. So that doesn't really bother me too much. But I'll have to look into that. I might end up deleting half my model and then just creating a symmetrical one instead of leaving it this way. But that is not really important. This is about wrinkles, and that is how I add wrinkles to my character model after I originally sculpted out without the wrinkles. Because if I sculpted it with wrinkles, I would have to retopologize it to accommodate those wrinkles. And that's just a more complicated retopology than having this effect later in the game. It's just much easier to do it this way. So I recommend it if you have some minor wrinkles that you want to add. Just moving around edges is the way to go. All right. Thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.